Welcome to Beautiful, Confident, and Safe, a podcast by Lewisburg Plastic Surgery featuring Dr. Normington. Hi, I'm Jordan Thomas. In each episode of this show, Dr. Normington and I will sit down for an unscripted conversation about a variety of plastic surgery topics. Our goal, as with everything we do here at Lewisburg Plastic Surgery, is to provide you with the educational resources you need to make the best decision and allow you to feel beautiful, confident, and safe. Let's get started. Good morning, Dr. Normington.
Good morning, Jordan.
This morning, I wanted to talk with you about CoolSculpting, a non-invasive procedure that we offer our patients here.
Sure.
Can you tell me exactly what CoolSculpting is and how that works?
So, CoolSculpting is an innovative technique used to reduce fatty tissue. Basically, it involves freezing fatty tissue to reduce it in size. It's kind of amazing.
Okay, awesome. So who would you say would be a good candidate for CoolSculpting?
I think the best candidate is somebody who has a few problem areas that haven't responded to dieting and exercise and wants to avoid surgery, which is the other option. So the other option is essentially liposuction.
And can you explain to me what the procedure feels like?
Sure. Well, so CoolSculpting is a machine that freezes away fatty tissue. So it's a machine that we apply to a problem area, and the treatment area is the size, and you can't see my hands, but the size of approximately 3 inches by maybe 7 to 8 inches. So we apply this machine to the problem area, and then we freeze the area for about 40 minutes. This has all been researched and investigated, the optimal amount of freezing and that sort of thing. But the freezing injures our fat cells. The skin over top recovers. It gets a little red, but then recovers. But what happens then over the next several weeks, your body's own reparative system goes in and removes these injured fat cells, and they don't get replaced. So it's a non-surgical way to reduce fatty tissue. The beauty of it is that it does not require anesthesia, and it's got a very easy recovery, okay? So I've had it done a couple of times. I literally did it in the morning and saw patients right away later in the day. So you can literally have the treatment and drive to work or drive to the gym or, whatever you're up to. So there's really very little in the way of downtime or recovery. The nice thing about it is it's perfectly safe. There's very little that could happen or go wrong. So it's a very safe alternative, and the alternative is essentially surgery. The downside is, again, we're treating a small area. Again, 3 inches by 7 or 8 inches. Sometimes we do need to treat the area more than once. In fact, usually it requires a couple of treatments. And if we're just treating that small area, if you can look at your own tummy, envision moving this, 3 by 7 inch area around. To treat a tummy, for instance, it might require, 6 or 8 treatments. So it does require numerous treatments, and that's the downside.
And with CoolSculpting, are the results immediate, or does it take time for those results to appear?
It's not immediate, although I think I saw things pretty quickly in a couple of weeks. So, there's a little bit of swelling, and again, swelling from the final result, but over a few weeks that swelling resolves, and I think you really see things, the end result anyway, in about 4 to 6 weeks. So you see things pretty quickly.
Okay, great. We actually will be having Trisha, our skincare nurse, joining us, who does these CoolSculpting treatments. I just wanted to ask her a few questions about that.
Sounds great. Thanks, Trisha.
Thank you for joining us today, Trisha. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So since you're being the one that do the treatments on our patients and consult with them to determine if they're a good candidate, can you explain to me how you determine someone's a good candidate for that?
So usually we do an assessment on their area of concern, and the fat that sits on the outside of your body is the best candidate for CoolSculpting. We like to call that pinchable fat. So as long as we can pinch the area and kind of pull it away from the body, that usually determines if they're a candidate or not.
And how many treatments would you say most people need?
Typically, patients need 2 treatments on a specified area of concern.
Okay. And what areas exactly are able to be treated with CoolSculpting?
So CoolSculpting's come a long way. Now we can treat under the chin, the upper arms. We can treat the full abdomen, the love handles. We can treat bra fat. We can also treat your inner thighs, your outer thighs, as well as the area we like to call the banana roll under your buttocks.
Okay. And what would you say is the average cost of these treatments?
Usually it can run anywhere from average $1,500 to $2,700.
And that's per treatment, right?
Right.
Okay. And then a lot of the time we see patients that come in for CoolSculpting consult and end up not being a candidate, and you would usually recommend them for a procedure with Dr. Normington, correct?
Yeah, usually I can tell right away if they're a candidate for CoolSculpting or not. Sometimes, patients will come in and they do have that pinchable fat on their abdomen, but they might have had some children, and from that, their abdominal wall is distended. And so if that's the case, a lot of times CoolSculpting can't get their stomach flatter than that abdominal wall. So then I will refer them to the doctors to maybe consider a tummy tuck.
Right. So then in that situation, Dr. Normington, is other than like a standard tummy tuck, is there something different you would do for that patient?
Well, the key issue with CoolSculpting, it doesn't tighten skin. It doesn't tighten up the muscles of the tummy wall. So that's the most common issue with folks who had kids. So in that situation, we would steer them towards something that would tighten the skin or tighten the muscles, like a tummy tuck. If it's a smaller area or an area that, again, just has that pinchable fat, they're a better candidate for CoolSculpting.
Okay, awesome. Anything to add, Trisha?
CoolSculpting, one of the really nice things regarding it is you can return back to your normal daily activities that day. Moms, dads, younger patients of ours, you can go to the gym that day. It's nice because there's no restrictions whatsoever.
Can you explain to me then what exactly the treatment is like for the patient?
So the treatment, when we bring them into the treatment room, we typically, mark the areas that we're going to treat on them. And then we apply the applicator. And at first they could just feel a little bit of a pulling sensation as that unwanted fat gets pulled into the applicator. And then once we touch the power button on, it starts to cool the area. And a lot of times you can feel a little bit of tingling, burning sensation, but that resolves within 5 to 8 minutes. And then you can just lie there and relax and take a nap, or maybe watch a movie on your phone. And after 35 minutes, the treatment's up, and we remove that applicator, do a manual massage for 2 minutes to help break down those fat cells. And then again, you can experience some warming sensation, tingling, burning as that area is warming back up to the environment. But again, it only lasts about 5 to 8 minutes.
Right. And it's not very painful, that burning sensation, correct?
Typically not,
okay.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
When I had CoolSculpting, I actually fell asleep because you're laying there on a table and and it's really, when it gets real cold, then you don't feel anything. And I literally fell asleep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Beautiful, Confident, and Safe podcast, brought to you by Lewisburg Plastic Surgery and Dr. Normington. Please be sure to subscribe to our show so that you never miss an episode. And for more information on Lewisburg Plastic Surgery, please visit us online at lewisburgplastic.com or find us on Facebook at Lewisburg Plastic Surgery and Dermatology or on Instagram at Lewisburg Plastic. We'll see you next time.